So we're going to continue with our filler flowers. These are going to have stamens, and these are going to be a pearled or end stamen. So they're pre-made, you can purchase them at the store, and they are a little expensive. So I try to be a little bit conservative about how I use them. So I have 3 here, and from this 3 I'll be able to make 2 flowers. So what I first do is I take it and I cut it in half. And then I take one of the pearls and turn it upside down. So now you have 2 pearls on one end and 1 on the other and 2 straight ends. I'm going to fold that in half. I'm going to take my wire, and I can use a size 26 wire because it's a soft little flower. It doesn't need a lot of support. And I'm going to bend it a little bit low here, okay? And I'm going to hook that right between the 2 halves that I folded over so that they're holding on. Once there, I'm going to take my pliers and press that together to make sure that they're really clamped really, really well. Just like that. And then I'll take a little piece of tape, and I'm going to use a lighter green tape. It doesn't really matter the color. You can mix your color of tapes. If you want to stay true to the plant, do look it up and see what color or how deep the green is of the stem. But for this, just a little bit of tape, and all I want is to be able to hold those pieces together. So again, I'm going to fold it around and just tape it so that they stay together. Doesn't need much. Tear that off. And now I'm ready to make my flower. These don't have to dry, so these are really quick. So we talked about the board, and we used the grooves before. Now we're going to use the holes. Exciting. I'm going to take my white paste, and you can make your filler flowers any color that you want. But a lot of times I find that if you have a lot of colored flowers, you need some white to balance it out. So I often will use the filler flowers in white. But you know, if you have mostly a white flower as a base, then you can use your filler flowers with a color. So after I've done this, I'm going to take a little piece of my paste, my sugar paste, and I'm going to pick the hole for the size flower I want. So you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes, and that depends on the size of the flower I want to make. For today, I think I'm going to pick and use size number 4. So I take my paste, I put it right over the hole and press down, and now I'm going to take my rolling pin and roll out my sugar paste. Fairly thin. Once done, I'm going to pick it up, and there I have a little dimple. Turn my board over, and this time I'm going to use what is also called a calyx cutter. It's for the bottoms of different flowers, but it also makes a great filler flower. So this particular set has 3 sizes, a large, a medium, and a small. I'm going to go with the small cutter. And right over this dimple, I'm going to put the center of my cutter, press down, pull my sugar paste away, make sure I have a clean cut. Again, make sure that I cover it and keep it moist. Press in the center. Sometimes you might have to find or use a Dresden tool or another tool if the holes of the cutter are a little bit too tight. And then press the whole thing out. Voila! There is the beginning of my flower. Again, I'm going to use my board, and we want them to look realistic, so we have to soften them just a bit. So I'm going to take my ball tool and just soften my edges. And in doing so, you also elongate the flower. So if you wanted to take, you only had one cutter and it was small, you could take it, make your sugar paste thicker, and then stretch it, and then make a bigger flower. So I can decide whether or not I want my flower to open out or to open in. So if I want it to open out, from the back side, I'm going to take the small edge of my ball tool and pull right in to the center. Just cupping it backwards. See how it curls back? Now I'm going to take the center that I already made. I'm going to put just a little bit of my glue, just slightly, put a little on and take a little off. We don't want it too wet. And I'm going to thread that through the center of my flower, all the way down. Covering that little nib where it met, and I can push it as far up as I would like. Squeeze it down on the bottom to make sure that it's pulled together. And then I can also take just the tips of my flowers and pinch them slightly to give them an exaggerated look. And with filler flowers, you can get a little fanciful, you can get a little fantasy with it. It doesn't have to be exactly correct. Once done, take it, hang it up, and now I'm going to let it dry. Okay, my flower's dry, so now it's time for dusting. Just like anything, a little bit of makeup will make the difference. And you can decide whether you want it to be just pure white, or on this one I'm putting just a little bit of green along the edge. If you feel like you have too much color there, you can take a little bit of the cornstarch and rub that over it, and it helps to smooth out or mute the color so it's not so exaggerated. And now, the last thing to do is to tape it. So again, I'll use my tape. And I only need to tape so far. This is going to be an individual flower. So I start on the bottom again. And just remember that your tape has a flat side and a sticky side. Whatever's turned on the inside of your roll is your sticky side. That's what you want to apply to your wire. Start a little further down, push it all the way up, and then just cover the wire with the tape. Did you like that? Press the like button.